All right, so for today's lesson, I'm going to focus on U.S. history, which is 8th grade, something I taught last year. This is one of the last lessons that we utilized during school before school ended. Standards for this lesson: explain the causes, courses, and consequence of the Civil War, analyze the role of slavery in the development of sectional conflict. Those are your standards. Examples may include, but are not limited to, slavery, states' rights, territorial claims, abolitionist movement, regional differences, Reconstruction, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. So if I was teaching the whole lesson, that is typically what we will cover throughout the period. The agenda for today will be to review key terms and definitions from the Civil War using Socrates. The lesson, since it's shortened, will be to use Socrates for interactive quiz games. Study quiz questions as they will be included on the final test. Also, you have some accommodations and then some other attachments just for the lesson itself. So this is Socrative. What it is, it's sort of like a Quizlet where you can input your own questions for quizzes or tests or anything like that. And with the implementation, you can also put it in the game mode where students can either play against each other down the roster, or you can put the students in groups and they can also compete against each other. Another thing I like to do after the kids practice it and, they're kind of familiar with the answers, sometimes I'll interject different questions, and then in the next class, or if there's time in that class, I'll also sign in and play along with the kids. They love the competition of trying to beat the teacher. And typically I'll add in something like maybe an extra couple bonus points, or I'll remove your lowest test grade for the student that can beat the teacher. Okay. That gives them a little more incentive, and they typically love that kind of challenge. So this is Socrative, Socrative.com. Basically, you want to go here. If you don't have an account, you can add one. If you do, boom, teacher can sign up. The students don't need a login per se. It's just going to take you to a screen, which I'll show you, where they just enter in your classroom. So as a teacher signs up, this is the page that you will get. Obviously, I've already signed up, so you can add in other quizzes that you would like, different rooms for different class periods themselves. 1 second here, sign back in. You can get reports, so you can also use these as not just, entertainment technology games, but as actual quizzes themselves. So that kind of gets the participation, because, every student's not going to want to participate. So for the sake of time, we're going to just look at the quizzes, and then we'll look at the space race. So if you go to the quiz, this is a quiz I created just to give you a quick idea of how it looks when you open it up. And it'll show you the different quizzes, the total number of classes, and what the score was. So what I want to do is take this number here, Stevens 8465, and we're going to create a game for the students to jump into. All right, so we're going to go to the space race. Would you like to? Yes, we'll start a new one. We'll go ahead with this one. Number of teams. For our sake, we'll just do the one that we have. Let's go 2. All right, so here's your race. This is what it's going to look like for the students. If you have groups, then, maybe you got 10 kids in a blue group, 10 in a magenta, or 5, 5, and 5. You can do as many as you want, or you can do them individual. I try to play them both ways. Stevens 8465. All right. And the student sign in here. All right, so here's what you're going to get you. This one I just put simple for the sake of time. You got 4 questions. What were the 2 effects of the compromise of 1850? And the students can have, you could set up if you want to do a timer and things like that, or the first ones to answer. Obviously, you don't necessarily need a timer, because once you answer questions the fastest, then you'll advance on the scale. So here's what happens. I'll just grab one answer. Submit it. That one was incorrect. But right away, they give you the correct answer. California entered as a free state and a strict fugitive state. So you can go back, and that way you'll know the answer for the next time. Kind of helps you with your memorization. All right, how did Uncle Tom's Cabin influence the debate? Then, all right, so this one we got correct. Now you go back to your screen here, and you'll see the blue team is in the lead. There's only 4 questions, so you'll get like a quarter of the graph filled up. The other team hasn't answered a question, right? So they'll stay behind, okay? So that's basically how this is going to be implemented. By implementing this program, it helps the kids with review. It keeps them intrigued and, into what's going on, because they also want to win. And the only way you can win is if you know the answer. So just a method that I found out that I can really use in my classroom other than Quizlet. Very similar to Quizlet, but it does give a break in that same kind of theme and game. They like to see things that are different, more challenging, and they like to learn new stuff. So this would be the example that I would use to integrate into my lesson plans. Thank you.